So welcome to the Downtown Greenway's grand opening and ribbon cutting. I'm Dabney Sanders, and I have served as the project manager for the Downtown Greenway since 2007. And while I have often been the face of this incredible project, this has really happened because of the dedicated and visionary work of so many people, and it's great to see so many of you out here today. This includes Greensboro residents, business and foundation leaders, elected leaders, city staff, consultants, artists, designers, construction workers, and installers. Greensboro made this happen through intense community engagement and the successful public-private partnership between Action Greensboro and the City of Greensboro. Thank you. This partnership relied on the strengths that each brought to the table. Action Greensboro had the early vision, the community backing, the significant initial funding, and the perseverance to keep this project moving forward as a priority. The City of Greensboro provided technical expertise on all levels, dedicating countless city staff from virtually every department, as well as incredibly significant funding that joined the private sector. Greensboro's City Council provided support and leadership from those very early days to today. And the Action Greensboro Operating Group and Action Greensboro staff, of course, have been a key to the success of this partnership. There are too many people to name individually. I wish I could call you out by name, but I do want to call out the Downtown Greenway team that has helped to make this possible. Laura Lorenz, our program and communications manager, who worked in that position from 2008 to 2022. And Laura really set the bar and the expectations for what we are doing today. Chelsea Phipps, who works for the city's Parks and Recreation Department. Chelsea has been coordinating all of the programming, communications, and volunteer activities for the Downtown Greenway since 2002, and is responsible for our event today along with the city's special events team. Barbara Peck, our public art consultant from 2008. Barbara is responsible for bringing almost 50 works of public art to this community, and I can tell you from working closely with Barbara that that is no small feat. Sherry Stewart, our bookkeeper, who has worked quietly and steadfastly behind the scenes with us since 2012. In addition, from the city side, we have a Downtown Greenway maintenance team within the city's Parks and Recreation Department that oversees that maintenance of open sections and now the full 4-mile loop. And that team is led by Matt Hicks and crew supervisor Franklin Bowman and crew members Cedric Agbo, Ian Batetta, and Daniel Easterling. They have a huge, huge job. There's so much to say about the significance and the value of this moment, and I'm really pleased to have on the program today representatives and leaders from both the private and the public sector. Trip Brown and Susan Schwartz have led this project from day one. Susan Schwartz as the founding executive director of Action Greensboro, and now the executive director of the Simula Foundation, the downtown Greenway's largest private donor. Trip Brown. Let's give Trip a round of applause. Trip was an early volunteer and an early leader of this project, and he served as the inaugural co-chair of the Downtown Greenway Oversight Committee, a position that he has continued to hold through today. And I always say it's one thing to be in a paid position as staff, like I am, and stick with a project this long, but doing that as volunteers takes it to a whole new level. Representing the public side today, we are really pleased to have our current mayor, Mary Kay Abuzawader, and city manager Trey Davis, who will round out the program before we get to this supersized, community-involved ribbon cutting. And so now I hope you'll join me in welcoming Trip Brown and then Susan Schwartz to share a few words and thoughts.
Thank you, Dabney. I apologize for the hat, but the son and I don't get along very well. It's an honor to have served on the Downtown Greenway team with Susan Schwartz and Dabney Sanders. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so. There are many things in life that are not certain, but I can tell you with certainty that this Greenway would not be here today in its present state if Susan and Dabney had not been at the helm. They're two of the most talented people I've ever known, but they did not do it alone. It's been a sheer joy to witness the enthusiasm and talents of all that have participated. The city and private sectors have worked together seamlessly, and the professionalism and abilities of the city staff have been quite impressive. Thank you, Susan, Dabney, and entire team. Well done, good and faithful servants. I can remember when we had our first meeting to get started on the Downtown Greenway. The meeting took place in the City Club on top of what was then known as the Jefferson Pilot Building. Who remembers Greensboro having a city club? I can also remember driving to Roanoke with Skip Moore and Walker Sanders to meet George Meade. Thank you, servants, for being on the job. Our objective was to have Norfolk and Southern abandon the line, which is now the last phase of the Greenway. We expected it to be our first phase and hoped Norfolk and Southern would contribute the trail, or at least give us a sweetheart price. The first thing George said was, "We are in the profit-making business and we never give anything away." And they sure didn't. We were blessed to even get them to sell us the right-of-way in 2014 for lots of money. So here we are, 25 years, 6 mayors, 8 city managers, and completion of the Center City Park, LaBauer Park, the Tanger Center, and the ballpark later. The main reason the business community got involved with the Downtown Greenway was to support economic development. Many thought that it was not a wise investment. The complexity and cost would be significant. The cost is about $54 million. Of this, the city, state, and federal governments have invested about $40 million, and the private sector $14 million. To date, buildings costing in excess of $600,000, $600 million have been built within a quarter mile of the Greenway. And of course, this figure will continue to increase. But my calculations show that annual taxes flowing to the city are in excess of $3,700,000. This amounts to an annual return of roughly 9.25%. Not a bad return, and it will increase annually as more buildings come online. My company, Brown Investment Properties, has been headquartered in downtown Greensboro since 1946. We've developed 2 properties as a result of the Greenway: Arbor House condominiums and 1007 Battleground office building at the corner of Battleground and Hill. A third development, Battleground Burger Bar, across Hill Street from our office building, will hopefully be open by mid-July. On a personal note, my wife moved to Greensboro in 2022. She purchased a condo overlooking the Greenway. Our first date was on the Greenway. I wanted to propose to her at Meeting Place, the Tradition Cornerstone. But there was a person there when we arrived, and he wouldn't leave. So I had to go back to her condo to get on my knee. We believe in Greensboro, its downtown, and the Greenway. My memory's going south, but one of my memories of this fun endeavor has happened in 2010 when we opened Phase 1. We were able to negotiate a permanent easement from Greensboro College for part of their property between Freeman Mill Road and Eugene Street. We were standing next to the Greenway and saw a walker coming towards us. We suggested to the interviewer that the walker be asked why they were using the Greenway. The walker said he was going to work. Case closed on the validity of the investment. The city's first significant investment was financed using transportation bonds. Early this week, Dabney received an email from a gentleman named Mark Snell. This email was totally unexpected, providential in timing. And here it is, abbreviated and edited. I'm an urban designer who worked on the Greensboro Center City Plan in 2001, and I recently saw that the downtown Greenway is now complete. I was working at Cooper Carey at the time as a young designer, hard to believe it was 25 years ago, and worked on the downtown Greenway. I had the pleasure of visiting Greensboro over the next weekend of April 25th and 26th of this year and walked all 4 miles of the downtown Greenway. Despite a cool and cloudy day, it was a great walk along a very thoughtfully designed amenity. It was really gratifying to see the completed Greenway. I just wanted to express my congratulations and thanks for bringing the Greenway as well as other parts of the plan to life in such a beautiful and functional way. The trail, landscapes, furnishings, and art are all very well executed. But I'm also impressed that it was built at all. I worked on about a dozen downtown neighborhood vision plans during my time at Cooper Carey, and most of them were never implemented at all. But I could tell that Greensboro was different, and that the citizens, including the amazing nonprofit community, would step up and make positive changes. Signed, Mark Snell. I had 2 friends years ago, Henry and Al. Each had a favorite expression that they would share with me frequently. I think it was because they knew that I am a very impatient person. Henry attributed his quote to Buddha. He who cannot wait cannot win. An Al's quote was, "Good things come to those who wait." Greensboro has won and is continuing to win. Congratulations, Greensboro. You waited and you won. And now I'd like to introduce my friend, Susan Swartz.
Well, good afternoon. I'm sure you're wondering what else is left to say. But I would just want to say to you all that, as you might imagine, it has been my pleasure to work with Dabney and Tripp. Actually, Tripp and I, if any of you remember Greensboro Visions, we were on the housing committee together, and that was a long time ago. But he and I have worked on the Greenway since 2001, and then, as you heard, Dabney joined us in 2007. Tripp brought, as you could hear, wisdom, vast real estate knowledge, and he kept his eye on the finances. And Dabney brought her expectations of excellence, her ability to bring people together, her appreciation of neighborhoods, of public art, of flora and fauna, and so much more.
Thank you, Dabney.
So I'm going to summarize with 4 statements that I hope you will take with you. First, we embarked on this Greenway thinking it would set Greensboro apart. It would make us more competitive, even more special. And that happened. But the other thing that happened is it brought us together. We were able to complete the Greenway, even though it took a long time. We are able to enjoy this collection of public art that graces our city. But also, we have brought neighborhoods together with the trails around the city. We're bringing people from far out to the 4-mile loop in the heart of our community, our downtown. So, it set us apart and it brought us together. The second thing I want you to remember is we can look forward to more economic development. Tripp talked about the money. We thought when we started this, we would make $7 to $12 in economic development for every $1 spent. We're at 11, and we're going to look forward to much more economic development. The third thing, this is an outstanding public-private initiative. The private sector led, but it's the public sector that pulled us through by providing, vast resources, local, state, and federal dollars, a bond referendum that our citizens passed, stormwater enhancement funds, and in addition, city councils that made this a priority, and city staff who worked diligently, demonstrated ingenuity and creativity, were budget-minded, and worked across the departments of transportation, parks and rec, police, and planning. Foundations and individuals contributed the $14 million you heard about. This was truly a team effort. And the fourth thing is, this is a beginning. Our vision for the future includes everybody that's probably here today who lives nearby, who maybe rode their bike in on one of the trails that connect to downtown. But what we're going to see is more people from outside of downtown, more people coming, more visitors who bring their bikes, their skates, their strollers, who spend time on the Greenway and who spend time downtown in our museums, our restaurants, our bars, and our parks. We've enjoyed outstanding programming, and we will look forward to more of that. And people are going to be saying, well, what's happening today at the Greenway? All right, so remember, when you leave here, that we were setting Greensboro apart, and we also brought us together. We can look forward to more economic development, This is an outstanding public-private initiative, and this is a beginning. Thank you for being here to celebrate this one-of-a-kind asset. And now it's my pleasure to introduce a public sector leader, our mayor, Mary Kay Abizuader. Mary Kay.
Wow. This is amazing. And the crowd is even more amazing. I'm just thrilled. This is community. I want to say good afternoon, but I also want to acknowledge my fellow council people who are here right now, council members. And if I miss someone, raise your hand. I see Tammy Thurm. I see Mayor Pro Tem Roth. I see Crystal Black. I see Adam Marshall. I see April Parker. And have I missed anyone? Not missing anyone. I also see former Deputy City Manager Chris Wilson. I know that he was over Parks and Rec. I do want very quickly, I'm going to be brief because I know everybody wants to see the ribbon cutting, but I do want all of the city staff who are here or who have worked here before to raise their hands and get a round of applause. Every single one of them has played a part, no matter how small, how large, but they've all played a part. You know, city council members and city managers and those in power come and go, but a lot of times the staff are the ones still here. I see Nasha McCrae, who is currently one of our assistant city managers over Parks and Rec. So today is a special day for Greensboro. This project represents community, connection, and the future of our city. And I say that in all my heart. It is so much more than a trail. It is a place where neighbors can gather, families can walk and bike together, visitors can experience Greensboro and see all of the art. This is amazing. It connects neighborhoods, businesses, schools, keep going on and on and on while bringing people together. What makes this project especially meaningful is not only all of the people who had played a part, and you know, Dabney and Susan and Trip Brown, everyone has played a part. But Greensboro has always valued community. Community, quality of life, and investing in green spaces that benefit everyone, which you will see all along the Greenway. Projects like this only happen from building relationships and partnerships. This Greenway is sustainable. It will be for the generations to come. This is Greensboro. This is one of your legacies. You have many, but this is definitely one. Most importantly, it reminds us that some of the best investments we can make are the ones that bring us together. That is a fact. So today, as we dedicate this Greenway, let us celebrate the spirit of Greensboro, a city that continues to move forward, continues to invest in people and business, and continues to build a stronger future together. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce our city manager, Trey Davis.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Before we close today, I know you've heard a lot of thank yous, but before we close, I can't help but take a moment to thank everyone who made today possible to say thank you. Whether you are a private investor, a private supporter, whether you are with one of our nonprofits, whether you have a trade that is committed to things like the art that you see now, or whether you are the city staff that work tirelessly. I know the mayor recognized a few of our former city staff or folks that have been a part of this. I step into this role as city manager, and I say I'm one of the luckiest city managers in our country, because I have the honor to be here today on this stage to highlight what cities across this country would love to have, and that is a greenway around our urban core that signifies the movement of where our city is going. So please give yourselves a hand if you are part of making today happen. The Downtown Greenway reflects years of vision, collaboration, and commitment from our community partners, our city staff, elected officials, advocates, donors, residents, and those who believe in creating a space that connects Greensboro. If you haven't taken a tour of our Greenway, please do so. I've been in this community more than 20 years, and I can't think of another component in our city that truly connects every aspect of our city in the way that our Greenway does. This project represents more than a completed trail. It represents the next chapter for our city. The Downtown Greenway will continue to support economic development, as you heard Susan talk about, strengthen connectivity, and create new opportunities for residents, businesses, and visitors alike. Today's celebration is also a reminder of the value of strong public-private partnerships. Let me say that again. The value of strong public-private partnerships and just what it can do for our city. We're especially grateful to Action Greensboro and all of the partners whose leadership, investment, and collaboration help bring this vision to life. And while today's remarks indicate a major milestone in where we are, the engagement and the stewardship of the Greenway will continue through the soon-to-be established Friends of the Downtown Greenway Group. Let's give them a hand. Their involvement will help ensure this space remains vibrant, welcoming, and active for generations to come. So thank you all for being here today and for being a part of this important moment for Greensboro. And at this time, I'd like to invite one of our shining stars, Chelsea Phipps, forward to lead us into our ribbon cutting set for the Downtown Greenway.
Please forgive me as I've started to lose my voice. We've had a very busy month of May. Who's ready to cut the ribbon? As we've alluded to, we truly have a supersized length of ribbon that will go from the entry of the Cairns Course pathway to the Friendly Avenue Bridge on my left. We want you all to be a part of this. It's going to take some time, but we have enough ribbon, and we're going to share a whole bunch of scissors around, and it'll be sort of a stadium wave concept with some pause points along the way. So first, I'd like to invite all of our city council members, Mayor Abuzawader, City Manager Davis, and our city manager office staff, along with Dabney Sanders, our project manager, Susan Schwartz, Tripp Brown, Mindy Oakley, and Cecilia Thompson. Chris Wilson, please join us for the first section of our ribbon cutting. Chris, Trey's asked me to ask you to come, please. I'd also then like to invite anyone who serves on one of our 5 Downtown Greenway committees. We've had a number of volunteer committees from the public and private sectors over the years. So our Oversight Committee, Technical Team, Finance Committee, Public Art Selection Panel, and our Western Branch Landscaping Committee. You're going to be in our second cohort of the ribbon cutting. I'd then like to invite all of our Downtown Greenway staff, our maintenance crew, our programming team, and all Action Greensboro staff members to join us. And then the final call is for all of you here in the crowd. So for our guests, you'd probably want to start lining up around this blue flag. I think it says walk. And from there on down, start lining up along the ribbon, find a spot. Scissors will come to you when it is your time. And let's get this thing opened.